This is a place for planting, for digging, for harvesting, for relaxing. It's a place to get your hands dirty, but most of all, it's about having fun. And that's what you'll always have when you're in the garden with Doug Oster. You want a green thumb too, don't you? Well, we're supposed to be outside getting our hands dirty in the garden, but we're in the middle of a rain event. Little lull in the action. We're going to get some more rain later. So we're working inside in the greenhouse. You don't need a greenhouse to do this. We're going to start some seeds. I just happen to have a greenhouse. Don't hate me. And we're going to start off with some beet seeds. This is Detroit Dark Red, and it is one of the most famous varieties out there. I did a story earlier in this year talking to farmers about what they grow, and Detroit Dark Red was certainly on the list. But here's one I hadn't seen before, Detroit Golden. I love golden beets, so it'll be interesting to see how this variety works. And there's nothing to this. All we're going to do is start with a good seed starting mix. We've got it moist already, and when we're mixing it up, we want it to be wet enough so that it sticks together, but when we squeeze it, it doesn't drip. And that's what we have this stuff. And let's start with Detroit Golden. Usually we start these seeds directly in the garden, and we will plant some that way. But it's also great to start them indoors. This is going to extend the season. And so the ones we start inside, we will plant it one time, and then we'll plant a few more seeds outdoors. We'll have a longer season of beets. And the most important thing we're going to do after we get these seeds in is be sure to mark them so that we know the difference between Detroit Golden and Detroit Dark Red. All right, I think that's enough seed right there. And we're just going to push the seeds down in here. And then, as I said, there's no way to tell the difference between them when they come up. Detroit Golden. Okay. I always save the plant markers from the previous years just for this, so we know what we're growing. And next I'm going to plant a little bit of endive, which is a great cool weather crop. And then got some lettuce, Heart Special Mix, Slow Bolt, and one of my favorites, Simpson Elite. Let me get some more seeds in here, and then we'll show you the next step. Even though we're inside, we still get our hands dirty. These lettuce plants will replace what's out in the garden when they're ready to go. Okay, we got our flats planted. Now, to get these seeds to sprout, we're going to cover both of them with plastic, and I like to use these old dry cleaner bags. They work great. This will keep the mix moist, and these cool weather crops like this will be up in just a couple days. Again, you don't have a greenhouse, you can just put these anywhere, on a windowsill, inside, even outdoors, and they will sprout when they're ready. Next up, another rainy day job. So what else can gardeners do when they can't get outside? We're going to make more plants out of a plant that grows indoors. This is a very common plant called a jade plant, and we can do this with all sorts of other plants. We're just going to take cuttings. What's in here is something called vermiculite. It is a soilless medium, which is great for rooting, and we're just going to look for the very ends of these plants, and we're going to dip it in something called root tone, which is a rooting hormone, and just stick it right into the vermiculite, and that's all there is to it. And we'll do the same thing that we did with those plants. We're going to cover this with plastic to keep the humidity in, and that's what's going to make them root. Jade plants root really easily. You can see the rootlets out of there already, and I don't even know if I need the root tone, but I always put it on here, and they always root. Into the root tone, and then just right into our vermiculite. This plant is getting leggy on the windowsill, so this is a good time to cut it back anyway. I always take off these bottom leaves too. All right, one more space. And we'll just seal this up. And then I'm going to show you some cuttings I took about a month ago. So these cuttings that I took before, all I'm going to do is gently tease them out of here and see if they resist. And they are holding on, and that means that they've rooted. And if you even look at one of these little itty-bitty ones here that I experimented with, when you pull it up, it's got roots on it. Well, look at that. That's going to actually turn out eventually to be a full-size jade plant. That's pretty cool. Now these cuttings have to come out of that vermiculite and go into some good planting mix. I'm going to do that next. But guess what? It stopped raining. We have one more job to do, and we're going to do it outside. I knew we'd get out there. All right, next up, we've got some seeds that have to be direct sowed in the garden. They can't be started indoors. And actually, I do feel a little rain. Hurry up. Come on, Max. Well, yes, it has started to rain, but now I think it stopped. Perfect timing. We're going to plant both radishes and carrots together, and that's a trick I always do. Radishes need cold weather to head up. That's why we're starting them so early. And I have two really cool varieties. One is called Round Black Spanish, and the other one is a colorful mix from the Livingston Seed Company. These seeds go together, and we're using one bed for two varieties. There's our carrot seeds. That's a lot of carrot. We'll be doing a lot of thinning here too. As I said, the radishes will be up and they'll come out first. And every time we pull a radish, that leaves room for the carrots. And I can't wait for fresh radishes. All right, let's get inside. Oh, it's good to be back in the greenhouse. It's seriously 10 degrees warmer in this unheated greenhouse. Now, for more information about everything we talked about today, check me out online, and that's also a place where you can see where I'm going to give away all those jade plants, because that's way too many for my windowsill. Until next week, I'm going to take these cool weather crops, split them up, and that little 4-pack is going to turn out to be a whole flat. We'll see you then.